नमस्कार, जय श्री राम, हर हर महादेव, भारत माता की जय। आज सबको पुनः हमारे इस छोटे से चैनल जो आप लोगों का ही है, आपका अपना परिवार है, इसमें आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत है। आप सबको पता है कि इस पूरे समय जो हमारा कालखंड रहा है, पूरा सप्ताह आप बोल सकते हैं, हमने विभिन्न विषयों पर आलोकपात की। हमारे जो इतने माननीय जितने भी गेस्ट स्पीकर्स थे, वो हमारे भारत के विभिन्न प्रांत के रहे हैं और विभिन्न प्रांत के जो अनगिनत बातें हैं वो हमारे साथ शेयर किए। ऐसी बातें जो कभी शायद हमारे बीच, यदि आप उस स्थान से न हो तो आपको पता न चले। ऐसे ही एक पटभूमि, एक नैरेटिव, एक विमर्श बनते आ रहा है बहुत ही कछुए की गति में, और वो हमारे देश का एक अभिन्न अंग गोवा है, जिसकी जो यदि आप हम इतिहास के बारे में बात करें तो इतनी समृद्धिशाली है, इतनी सुंदर है। मैं स्वयं वहाँ पे गई हूँ, मुझे सौभाग्य प्राप्त हुआ था जाने का। तो जब मैं वहाँ पर गई, जिस प्रकार का एक उसके विषय में जिस प्रकार का एक चर्चा होता है और जिस लय में उसके विषय में बात किया जाता है, कहीं ना कहीं एक राष्ट्रवादी होने के नाते और एक महिला होने के नाते दुख भी होता है। जानेंगे कैसे इस पर्टिकुलर नैरेटिव को गढ़ा गया, इसकी तोड़ क्या है, भविष्य के भारत में गोवा का स्थान और गोवा का भूमिका क्या है, उसके इतिहास से कुछ पन्ने हम क्या सीख सकते हैं। आइए मिलते हैं ऐसे ही एक युवा नेता हमारे बीच हैं, सैवियो रॉड्रिगेज जी। नमस्कार सैवियो जी।
नमस्ते गायत्री,
जी
कैसी हो?
एकदम बढ़िया, आप बताइए।
मैं भी एकदम बढ़िया।
जी 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 जी। तो सैवियो जी, एक तो हम आपको पाकर अत्यंत धन्य हुए, क्योंकि देखिए क्या है कि हम बाहर यानी भारत का ही अंश है, परंतु यदि हम किसी प्रांत के बारे में बात करें तो उस प्रांत के जो लोग होते हैं, जो ज़मीनी कार्यकर्ता हैं, और हमारे इस जो चैनल है इसकी विशेषता ये है कि हम जो ज़मीनी कार्यकर्ता, जो धरातल में काम करते हैं, उन्हीं से ही हम सीधे बात करना अधिक पसंद करते हैं। तो आप चूँकि धरातल में रहे हैं और आपका आगमन जो हुआ, पहले तो हम जानते थे आपको गोवा क्रॉनिकल के माध्यम से, और उस पश्चात जो सीएए में आपका एक नया रूप निखर के आया और जिसमें आपने सीधा-सीधा बोल दिया, मैं राष्ट्रवादी हूँ, मैं भाजपा को सपोर्ट करता हूँ, चलो अब तुम मेरा क्या उखाड़ो, मैंने ये स्टैंड लिया है। एक रिपोर्टर होने के नाते मैंने स्टैंड लिया। उस पश्चात धीरे-धीरे जो ये आपका एक भूमिका बना गोवा में, और आपने अभी इलेक्शन भी लड़े, तो मैंने आपके पोस्ट भी व्यक्तिगत रूप से मैं आपको फॉलो करती हूँ, फेसबुक में भी, और हम व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी मिले हैं। सीएए के जो समर्थन रैली हुआ था उस समय चर्च गेट के पास मिले थे। तो वो जो एक पूरा श्रृंखला रहा, और भविष्य में आप क्या करना चाहते हैं इसके विषय में यदि आप थोड़ा सा अपने बारे में भी आप बोलें तो मुझे लगता है वहाँ से अच्छा लगेगा बात आरंभ करना।
गायत्री, मैं एक साधारण सा मनुष्य हूँ। मैं अपने देश को बहुत प्रेम करता हूँ और दिल से प्रेम करता हूँ। मैं ऐसा था नहीं। जब मैं बचपन में था, व्हेन आई वाज यंग, आई वाज नॉट वेरी मच एन इंडियन इन माय थॉट। मैं इंडियन की बारे में सोचता भी नहीं था। जब मैं दुबई में मेरा परवरिश हुआ था, मैं हमेशा सोचता था कि मैं बाहर का रहने वाला हूँ। कुछ पोर्चुगीज का एंसेस्ट्री है मेरे एंसेस्ट्रल लीनिएज में। तो मैं हमेशा सोचता था कि मैं फॉरेनर हूँ, इंडिया नहीं हूँ। जब भी मैं छुट्टियों पे आता था मुंबई में या गोवा में, मैं उसको विलेज समझता था और मुंबई को इतना घटिया समझता था, गंदा समझता था, क्योंकि मैं बराबर चल नहीं सकता था। वहाँ पे इतने सारे गार्बेज था वहाँ पे, एक्सेट्रा। पर मेरा जो ग्रैंडफादर था, उसने मुझे एक चीज बोला था जब मैं 9 साल का था, और उसने बोला कि तो अभी अपने आप को फॉरेनर समझते हो, बाहर के नहीं समझते हो अपने आप को। और एक दिन हो जाएगा आपके ज़िंदगी में कि आपको भारत माता बुलाएगा, और उस समय आप सब छोड़ के भारत वापस आएगा, आपको पता नहीं चलेगी कि आप क्यों कर रहे हैं, और आप आएगा और आप देश के लिए जो भी कर सकते हैं आप करेगा, जान भी दे दोगे, ऐसा
वाह
आप
वाह
याद
वाह,
रखो। उस समय में हमने
भविष्यवाणी हो गई उनकी तो।
सो जब मेरा दादाजी ने ये बोला था, आई वाज आई लाफ्ड एट हिम, आई सेड यू नो दादाजी आप तो रहने वाले नहीं, तो आप ये कैसे देख पाओगे? तो वो हंसना चालू किया है कि मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, देश देखेगा तू क्या करेगा देश के, you know. So when I came back to India in 2000, I was still not very energized with wanting to work for India, but I came. Like I said, I wasn't very sure, and then I started to be a journalist. I was with a reputed national publication, and then my life got me in touch with Mr. Parikar, the former defense minister. And I would say a lot of the stirring, I mean, my parents are very patriotic in their own right, and my grandfather was. But the real stirring to my commitment towards nation building, जो मेरे अंदर ये जो stir हुआ है, वो मनोहर पारिकर की वजह से हुआ है। और जो भी मैं उनके साथ बात करता था, जो भी मैं गोवा क्रॉनिकल का एडिटर और वो चालू किया था गोवा के अंदर, तभी से वो मुझे हमेशा बोलता था कि आप बढ़ते जाओ, आपका सोच सही है, आपका ऑनेस्टी बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट है, और वो आप रखो, वो आपका फितरत है, आपकी इंटेग्रिटी आपका फितरत है, आप किसी का सुनता नहीं, सिर्फ सच के पीछे जाते हो। तो ये जो देशभक्ति के अंदर का जो स्टरिंग है वो मिस्टर पारिकर के साथ ही हुआ है, क्योंकि मैंने देखा है कि ये एक एजुकेटेड इंसान है, और वो अपने एजुकेशन को लेकर, अपने दिमाग को लेकर, अपने बुद्धि को लेकर किस प्रकार से लोगों और गोवा को आगे ले रहा था। उसको कोई he didn't have any need for money or wealth, or to leave legacy of money for his family. You know, that's not what he wanted. उसको सिर्फ ये चाहता था कि गोवा को एक मुकाम पर लेकर आए, और देश को एक मुकाम को लेकर आए जब वो डिफेंस मिनिस्टर बन गया था। इसलिए you see his time as a defense minister would probably have many systems in the Ministry of Defense as well, and corruption would have been reduced to absolutely nothing, because he was that kind of man. So if I had to tell, say who was really responsible after my parents and my grandfather for stirring the feeling of and the bhakti for Mother India, then that would be Mr. Parikar, without a doubt, because he was very inspirational. I mean, we had few conversations, you know, in the many years we knew each other, but learning from him, watching him, and understanding his commitment to the state and to the country is what really changed me. And after he moved on, I thought it was my responsibility to take it forward in the best way that I could. And that is why I got more aggressive and more assertive after Mr. Parikar moved on.
Right.
So that's one part of me. Now, you see, the most important thing to me, you know, Gayatri, is मैं अपने आप को क्रिश्चियन या अपर कास्ट या लोअर कास्ट को मानता नहीं हूँ, क्योंकि मैं अपना कास्ट भी नहीं जानता, ऑनेस्टली। जब भी मैं मम्मी डैडी से पूछता था कि कौन सा कास्ट है, लोग मुझे पूछ रहे, जब मैं गोवा आया था कि आप कौन से कास्ट के हो, तो मेरे मम्मी और डैडी बोलता है कि ये आप इंडियन है, उससे यू डोंट नीड एनीथिंग एल्स, आपको और क्या चाहिए, आप इंडियन हो, आप इंडियन है ब्रो, राइट। तो हम अपने आप को भारतीय मानते हैं, ना मुझे मेरे रिलीजन का कोई महत्वपूर्ण चीज मेरे सिटीजनशिप में है या मेरे कास्ट का, मुझे उससे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। मैं सिर्फ इतना जानता हूँ कि हमें भारत माता के लिए सेवा करना है और भारत माता को ही आगे लेना है, वो ही अपना मकसद। तो जो मेरा फेथ है क्रिश्चियनिटी, वो अपने अपने घर में मानता हूँ, अपने परिवार के साथ हूँ, अपने कम्युनिटी के साथ हूँ, वो मेरा पर्सनल है। लेकिन जो देशभक्ति है ना, और लोग बोलते हैं कि भक्त, मैं भक्त हूँ, मैं मानता हूँ कि मैं भक्त हूँ, वो कौन सी गलत बात है? मैं भक्त हूँ, मैं उनसे पूछता हूँ कि क्या आप कम भक्त हो? कि मैं देश का भक्त हूँ, क्या ये लोग देश के कम भक्त है? तो देशभक्ति बुरा चीज नहीं है, देशभक्ति चाहिए, हर एक नागरिक में देशभक्ति होना जरूरी है, क्योंकि देशभक्ति के बिना आप देश को आगे नहीं ले सकते।
जी, जैसे आपने मनोहर पारिकर भाई साहब के बारे में बोला, मेरा गला सूख सा गया, क्योंकि मुझे ये एक बहुत ही रेयर एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली थी उनसे मिलने के लिए। बहुत ही निकट से जानते थे, और उनसे जब हम मिले तो ऐसा नहीं कि वो सीएम से मिल रहे हैं, हम एकदम सर्वसामान्य, एकदम नॉर्मल सा ये पैंट शर्ट भी आउट किया हुआ, और चप्पल भी ये नॉर्मल वाला, आई थिंक हवाई चप्पल ही पहन के आ गए थे भाई साहब मिलने के लिए। तो उनसे जो बात हुई मेरी व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी, वो ऐसी हुई कि मतलब ये बार बार, जैसे आपने कहा कि एक आपके मन में चिंगारी डाल के गए, तो जब बोलते हैं ना कि फल लगा हुआ, फल से जब लदा हुआ कोई पेड़ को देखो तो वो पेड़ झुका हुआ होता है। मन में वही भाव आता है मेरे मन में जब कभी मैं उनके बारे में सोचती हूँ। वैसे सावियो भाई साहब, आपके जो माइक है ना उसमें शायद कुछ प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है, so there's a lot of
one second, it's gone now.
Yes, I think so. Okay, great. No, it's still coming in intermittently, it's coming. Now it's better, I guess.
I think it's coming from your end, because when you're talking, it's coming on.
Is it coming from my end? Is it coming from
because
my end?
I don't have a mic. I'm talking without a mic.
Is it so? Okay, so do you hear the noise when I speak?
Yes.
Okay, so what is...
Now when I'm speaking, there's no noise.
But I can hear the noise when you speak.
Maybe it's on both sides.
I think somebody is not liking that we are having this discussion, okay? It's like a static issue, some kind of static noise. I don't know.
Do you want to log out and log in? No, it's live, so I don't think we should do that.
No, I can go back and I can come back. You try once, logging out and logging back in. Yes. आप सभी को अभी कोई नॉइज आ रहा है मेरे एंड से? कोई नॉइज आ रहा है? Static issue? I know it's yes, Shikha ji, it is static issue. But do you hear any noise now? आप लोगों को अभी कोई नॉइज सुनाई दे रहा है? It's fine. Okay. सही है. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now it's fine. We don't hear the static noise now. Okay, great. So, yes, I was about to come from that very heavy, I would say it's a very heavy, feeling when we know that Manohar Bhai Sahib is no more, and his dedication, as I showed the pics, I mean, with the pipe inside, and then he's still continuing to work. That's the kind of dedication we see, which is very, very rare nowadays. But nonetheless, he has left that kind of precedence for all of us. और वहाँ से इस बात पर कि आप जैसे ही राजनीति में आप उतरे, तो एक तो जो आप नॉर्मल लोगों के बारे में हम अगर बात करें तो यही होता है, जो खुराफाती नॉर्मल लोग, खुराफाती लोग यही बोलेंगे कि आप तो क्रिश्चियन हो, ठीक है, और यहाँ पे तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी है संपूर्ण रूप से। उस समय तो राम जी का भी अयोध्या का जो हमारा भव्य राम मंदिर का निर्माण का भी चल रहा था। तो अरे वाह, तुम तो दल्ले निकले, तुम तो अपॉर्चुनिस्टिक निकले, ऐसे-ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग बोलने वाले होते हैं, पर ये तो उनका काम ही है। वी डोंट वांट टू काइंड ऑफ डाइग्रेस इनटू दैट, वी डोंट वांट टू, हमें उनको प्लेटफ़ॉर्म देना ही नहीं है उस विचार को। पर मैं जानना चाहती हूँ कि जैसे कि हमारा आज का टाइटल है कि ये एक सेलेक्टिव नैरेटिव बनाया जाता है व्हिच बेसिकली induces foreigners to look at India, to come towards India, thinking it's a snake charmer's place. हम जाएंगे और व्हाइट मैन्स बर्डन लेके हम उनका उद्धार करेंगे, और इससे उनको बहुत सारा पैसा भी मिलता है, दे गेट फाइनेंस्ड। सो कहीं ना कहीं it becomes imperative that they continue with that narrative. कुछ ऐसा ही गोवा के साथ भी चल रहा है। गोवा का जो रियल हिस्ट्री है, सिंस यू आल्सो वर्कड विद गोवा क्रॉनिकल, सो आई वांट टू नो योर पर्सपेक्टिव, हाउ डिड दिस शिफ्ट हैपन? We hardly talk about Sambhaji Maharaj, who actually freed Goa for 50 long years, you know, from the clutches, and how barbaric the Portuguese were. एंड पोर्चुगीज के बारे में अगर हम बात करेंगे तो आज भी लोग बोलते हैं, अरे पोर्चुगीज ने हमें ब्रेड दे के गए, भूखे थे तुम? हाँ, ठीक है। तो ये सारी कुछ बातें होती हैं। सो व्हाट इज योर टेक एंड हाउ वुड यू लाइक टू एड्रेस दिस?
Okay, let me put it in as simple a word as possible. We have to know our past in order for us to reconcile in the present. Because if you don't reconcile in the present, you cannot set the foundations for the future. Right? So you know the past, you
Very true.
reconcile in the present, and you build the foundation for the future. There is no doubt that Goa faced one of the worst brutalities for the last 450 plus years under the Portuguese rule. There were Christians in Goa, and conversions were a part even before the Portuguese brought in the Inquisition. Because at that point of time, there were the Franciscans, there were the Dominicans, and I'm talking about the church, there were the Neo-Christians that were there were the Syrian Christians that were there were Jews, there were Muslims, and of course, there were the Hindus. That were the larger number of people. So when the Portuguese came in, they realized that they didn't have control of the people, and they believed that the control of the people came through religion. So when you were used religion to subjugate a person, that is when you had control over them, and that's exactly what happened in Goa. So the brutality continued. The Goa Inquisition came in 1952. Sorry, it came in a little later than that. And it went on for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And under that Inquisition, you had brutality meted out on people, the indigenous people in Goa, who were predominantly Hindu, and people who had their faith in what is considered to be the local indigenous religion that was there at that time.
True.
And they wanted control. So conversion, so it was not only an economic attack, it was an economic as well as a religious attack on the people of Goa. Now that's the past, okay?
No, it's very
And
interesting that you pointed out that it is not only just economic, it's also religious, because the moment you touch upon religious topic, it's like a no, no, don't touch that topic. Let's
that
just
doesn't
brush
bother
under
me.
the carpet. Yeah.
That doesn't bother me because there would have been reasons
Mm-hmm.
why my ancestors would have converted to Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were tortured, maybe they accepted it. I don't know. I haven't gone past into my history. But what doesn't change the fact of the people of Goa is that they are all Goans irrespective of the religion today.
Very true.
Right? If they choose to believe that they are Goans and they choose to believe that they are children of Mother India, then they are children of Mother India.
Very
That's the
true.
way I look at it.
Very well said. Very well said.
If they choose to believe that they are children of Portugal because they have the right to choose a Portuguese citizenship, it's been accorded to them for those born before 1961, then they have the right to make that choice and go to Portugal, which is your real mother that you believe in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But what you cannot do, and that's what the Bible also says, is that you cannot serve two masters.
Hmm.
So you can't be somebody espousing to be a Portuguese citizen and then living in India and badgering India, saying that, we were better off with the Portuguese ruling us. If you think you were better off with the Portuguese ruling you, the Portuguese is still a country. You can please, you have the right, you have the law that benefits you, please go to Portugal. But when you're in Goa, and now Goa was always a part of India, it was under foreign rule, now it's a part of India back again.
True.
So you have every right to stay here if you believe in India. If you don't, you do have Portugal available to you. It's your right as well over there. Please, you can move. But where the disconnect is when you tell us that, oh, you should not look into the past. That, oh, this is very this is trying to target the church. This is trying to target Portugal. You see, the truth is always bitter. It's not going to be easy for anybody to digest. But it's also important for the current generation to know what we went through, what our forefathers went through, right? I'm not casting aspersion, and I don't think we should cast aspersion on any of the people currently in Goa or in Portugal who have nothing to do with the Inquisition, what their ancestors were involved in,
Correct.
right? But what we cannot accept is that you gloss over the truth and say it never happened.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
problem that I have. When you say it's not happened, it's something that's not happened. Oh, so what? Portugal has given us a lot of things. Of course, they would have given you a lot of things. 450 plus years, they were not going to sit on grass, were they? They were not going to be sitting on the beach drinking feni. They would have done infrastructure development because they made Goa into an economic hub for their own activities. They never did it for us. They never did it for the indigenous people. If they did it for the indigenous people, they would have accepted them the way they were. There was no need to convert them. So they not only robbed us economically, they also robbed us religiously. Right?
It
So
is
that's the truth. So if you were to ask me, would I hate Portugal for it? Absolutely not.
not.
I have nothing against anybody who chooses Portugal or likes Portugal. I don't. Because I can't hold them responsible for the past. But what I can certainly do is for us to not hold that grudge, to hate each other. We have to learn from what the past is, know the past, reconcile the present, and build stronger foundations for the future. Because at the end of the day, whether you're a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew in Goa, for that matter, you are still a Goan, you're still an Indian. And that's what matters. So when people say, okay, let's go ahead and lambast the Portuguese, let's fire them, let's raise up this issue. You're going to raise up the issue and do what? Educate? Yes, you should. Then what do you want to do after that? Are you going to go back into history and dig up all the graves and beat all those people up, the bones? I don't think you can. No? It's not normal. It's an abnormal thing to do. But what is important is to accept the truth and move on, because the future is built on reconciliation. That's how you move forward. So is it a truth that we were oppressed? Yes, the people of Goa were oppressed. They faced a lot of atrocities. And then there were a lot of infrastructure development that the Portuguese did bring. And people today say, oh, wow, this is Portugal's bridge and look at India's bridge. So my friends, if you think Portugal were better construction people of bridges, you please can go to Portugal. No, you have to write. I keep saying that. People demoning India is what I don't like. Your mother is not perfect. India is not perfect. Because India is not perfect, because the mother's children are not perfect. Right? So don't hold it against Mother India. Don't hold it against Mother India.
Great punch, I said. Great punch.
Right? You have a choice to choose Portugal if you like it so much. It's within your right to go there. But when you're in India, and there are certain things that you need to do to help build India and go as an integral part of India. You might not like Modi. You might not like BJP. You might not like Congress. But for God's sake, don't dislike Mother India. Contribute towards making her better if you think she's not. It's like this, right? Let's say, my mother has a defect on her leg. She limps. And I never knew it till about, 11 years of age. Till a friend came and said, your mother limps. I said, no, my mother doesn't limp. No, go and see your mother. So I went and I noticed, and then it came to me, that she limps. Now, why did I not see it? Because whether she limped or not didn't matter. No?
True.
What mattered was the love, care, and comfort and the identity that my mother brought for me.
The very fact that she is your mother, that's it.
Right. That's the same thing. You see, today we live in a cynical world where everybody wants to promote hate. And all I'm trying to do is get you to rationalize how you move forward when there is conflict, because that's my subject of study.
True.
I've been studying only how to deal with religious conflicts. Last year, I completed a course online with a reputed institute, international, on dealing with conflict. The point is this. The point at the end of the day is every nation is within a conflict. Today, Goa is the epitome of communal harmony. You will never be able to distinguish between a Hindu, Muslim, and a Christian in Goa if they get down to being actual Goans sitting in a bar or sitting in any coffee shop or any tea stall having, vada pav or misal pav or any of that, right? Or bhaji pav for that matter. The real distinction comes in when you bring in that distinction. People of Goa have accepted the past. Some tend to forget it. And some within the Christian community say, how does that matter to us? It's all in the past. Well, that's all fine. You can choose to accept it. You can choose not to accept it. It becomes a problem when you demean India and compare it to an oppressor. That's where the problem arises. Don't for a moment think Portugal was your friend. They were not. They were colonizers. Their whole purpose was to exploit your resources and exploit your people. You don't glorify them.
Knowing, acknowledging is the beginning of any healing, I believe.
Absolutely.
Accepting it. And for that, the very interest to dig deeper, that is also very important. Unfortunately, we have been fed few wrong narratives, not few, wholesome. I mean, in huge chunks, we have been fed wrong narratives. And somehow this narrative is being taken forward because I feel what was disturbing while during the onset, while the elections were just nearing, we saw a huge influx of people from a certain community, and to be very precise, Bangladeshis and Rohingyas in Goa. And they were actually found even by police, and they were reported and deported and whatnot. So that was also considered to be a targeted campaign, which could make a dent and maybe an inroad for TMC kind of political parties. So how do you then assess this? And this aggression is not only specific to Goa, but this is happening rampant even in Delhi. Assam is the hotbed.
Personally, when Mamata Banerjee had come down, I'd very categorically written an article stating Mamata Banerjee is the item, Mamata Banerjee, not Mamata Banerjee herself, but TMC is the item number of Goa politics, of the Goa elections 2022. The purpose of an item number is to create
Really?
entertainment.
No, 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 no. I want to pause. Was it really said so?
Yes, I said it. I'll send you the article.
Please continue.
Okay. So,
I wanted to wait.
so TMC was the item number simply because it was required for entertainment value. Their posters were all over the place. Mamata Banerjee came in with big plans. And just like every item number, everybody remembers the item number, but it does not hold ground for the story of the movie success. Right? There is no item number that's made a movie successful. Same way, TMC never became successful in the Goa election. AAP, in my opinion, was a car without a number plate. Now they have 2 number plates with them. Okay. Before the election, they were a car without a number plate, driving around Goa for a couple of years. Now they have 2 number plates, which is good. I think fair. Some of them are good people. Some of them are absolutely. I mean, sometimes I wonder where their brains are in as far as AAP is concerned. But by and large, they're good people. Congress was always a real threat and will continue to be the real threat in Goa for the BJP. But the people put their confidence in us, and that's why we got a majority, and that's why we have the government. And we will always do our best to ensure that that confidence that the people have in us will continue. That does not mean some people don't have that faith in the BJP. Those people governed or controlled by certain vested interests, for one, certain narratives which are probably, BJP is a pro Hindu party, and some people do have that kind of fear psychosis that gets created. You can't necessarily deal with that on a large scale basis. So you have to deal with it very slowly, gain confidence, and move on. You're not going to get 100% people who like you.
Yeah.
I don't expect that. So if we are at 40% of voters or 35% of voters, our job is to get to 40 or 45 and win confidence, and that's what we're going to do. Because eventually, what people want at a ground level is not religious gyan. What they want is roti, kapda, and makan. What they want are jobs, right? So certain section of the community in Goa might not favor the BJP, and that's fine. That's their choice. They have a right. But there are a larger section of society in people in Goa that do support the BJP, and they will continue to. So opposition can play the divide. Eventually, what they don't realize is that the divide will always benefit the BJP. The divide will always benefit the BJP because people who want development will always vote towards the BJP. People who are governed by religion, caste, pulls will choose any other political party that is there, and that's their choice. So I like when I contested the election in Whalum, and I did win. So many people were like, "Oh, now this is the end of SAB." I came in the next day and I started doing what I set out to do because, I don't expect people to like me suddenly in 25 days. So I will take the next 5 years to build confidence.
Absolutely.
In the end, that's what a political leader does. I like my people. I like my constituency. I like my state. I like my country. So I came to them with the idea of offering them something better. They didn't believe in me. It will take a little bit more time, but 1,331 did. So now I have to build that into 10 times. That's all over the next 5 years. It's like this, if I get upset in one try, then I would have not been married to my wife. Okay, because I had to ask her 5 times before she agreed to go out on a date with me. So if I gave up the first time, I wouldn't have married a beautiful woman who gave me 2 beautiful daughters. So I'm a very
Wonderful.
persistent guy.
Wonderful, wonderful. So this is also the recipe how to keep your family also in place, huh?
Correct.
Like when you're talking about all these things, you are also giving indication that, well, you know what, I have not forgotten. I'm still there. I'm pretty much a family man as well, and I'm doing this. So hello, darling, please don't think that I have forgotten you.
Oh no, my wife and kids are, and my mother and my sisters are my biggest strength. You
Yes.
see, I've always been a strong believer of the power of the sacred feminine, in the power of Ma Saraswati, and that's why I have very powerful women energies around me that have been my guiding light. So, as my wife, my daughters, they're the most excited about my political leap. They are excited
Yes.
even if I didn't take a political leap. At the
True.
end of the day, what is most important to them is that their father completes his mission, because they see the father and the husband as somebody who's very mission oriented. So that's what they like.
Yes, yes. And what we also like the fact is that when once you got into the foray, political foray, we could see a different angle to your entire personality. Not that we did not see enough during a Goa Chronicles day, yes, but इस समय पे जो आपका एक आया था that हाँ strategically अभी मेरे को ये highlight करना है और मुझे ये चीज़ें सामने लेकर आनी है। उसी समय जो कोरोना के काल में हमने डॉक्टर प्रमोद सावंत जी का जो हमने काम देखा, a CM literally holding the stethoscope and really literally working out, literally checking the patients. He does not need to. He really does not need to. तो मुझे तो लगता है गोवा का भूमि जो है ना बहुत वो
Well,
ब्लेस्ड है.
Gayatri, Dr. Pramod Sawant is a very young chief minister, and he's a very
Absolutely.
dear friend as well.
He is 1973 or 74 born, I believe.
Yes.
Somewhat like that.
So
Yeah.
he's 2 years elder to me. Okay.
Okay, 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 okay.
And the most important thing is, in that young age that he's moved into that position primarily after Mr. Parikar's moving on. And at that point of time, there were a lot of pressures that were around, which he managed. Now coming back with majority under his leadership is an indication that people are willing to have that confidence in him. And I believe, in my heart, I know, irrespective of all negative campaigns that went after Dr. Pramod Sawant, that his intent is genuinely for Goa. He obviously has not reached the stage to acquire that cult status that Mr. Parikar had, because Mr. Parikar was there for a longer time, right?
And huge shoes to fill, I believe.
Correct.
Huge shoes
And
to fill.
so he will take his time, but as Dr. Pramod Sawant, I don't want Dr. Pramod Sawant to be Parikar.
Yes.
I want Dr. Pramod Sawant to excel
Yes.
beyond Mr. Parikar.
Absolutely. And
That's
create his own niche.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
what's the need for every political leader.
I
You
think
can
every,
learn from the mentor, and you have to
yes,
excel beyond the mentor.
absolutely, absolutely.
And I
I
think Dr.
believe,
Pramod Sawant will do that.
yes, yes. And, from a person who is not in Goa, from that perspective, the kind of work that we see of Dr. Sawant is like, it's amazing and it's astounding. And we feel that probably he is the next best thing happening to Goa after Mr. Parakar, because
I would
uh,
agree.
and to compare someone to a stalwart size of a personality like that of Mr. Parikar, I think that would be also injustice to the other person. So
Correct.
yes, because anybody would be dwarfed. But uh, I think even for Dr. Sawant, what he is doing is basically he's trying to take him as his, not trying, he is definitely taking him as an inspiration and walking the talk,
Yes.
uh, and that is what is out there for people like us to
Correct.
imbibe. you know See, the tutu meme and those cacophony in the background will always be there. It will
In
always be there.
in the end, the work speaks, no,
Yes,
Gayatri. In
yes,
the end, the works will speak. So I
yes.
think Dr. Pramod Sawant's in a good space. I think the people are with him, the cabinet is with him, all the MLAs are with him. So I believe he will do good. We just
Yes,
need to give him that support.
and we should not forget Goa has its own mix, you know,
Yes,
and in its political bag, we have its own mix, even in terms of one way of politics, which we had seen it come to light maybe like what 10, 12 years back. Very vividly, it had come to light, and it was not a very pleasant scene. Yes, it took a taskmaster like Mr. Parikar to kind of make it
correct.
well. But if it went to a little weaker hands, it would have again raised its heads. The very fact that those have still been managed, and I'm sure I mean things are being done which we don't know. हमें नहीं दिख रहा है इसका अर्थ ये नहीं कि हो नहीं रहा है. उसको अच्छे से मैनेज कर पाना, इसके लिए बहुत बड़ी कुशलता की आवश्यकता है, और डॉक्टर प्रमोद सावंत तो इतनी सुंदर तरीके से इस सारी चीज़ों को लेकर जा रहे हैं. हम अगर एक छोटा सा भी काम करते हैं, ऑफिस में हो, अपने घर में भी हो, एक छोटा सा ही अगर पार्टी सेलिब्रेशन भी रखते हैं, तो भी कितनी सारी बातें आ जाते हैं, नहीं बलून्स इसी कलर के होने चाहिए थे, तुमने मेरी बात नहीं सुनी तो मैं थोड़ा रुष्ट हो गया हूँ, ठीक है ना? ये भी होता है. तो जब हम ऐसे पार्टी चलाने की बात करते हैं, एंड कमिंग टू so-called young hands from a very stalwart kind of a guy, with the backdrop of where whatever had transpired earlier. So today, I think it's kudos to Dr. Swami and also to his entire team, entire cabinet, all his margdarshaks, and also to people like you, who are actually, being very, very positive influence into the entire thing.
I agree. I mean, I'm completely supportive of Dr. Samant. I think he's a good man
Yes,
in a good space, and I'm
yes.
there for him, and he knows that.
एब्सोल्युटली, एब्सोल्युटली. कुछ चीज़ें अभी इस तरफ भी आते हैं कि कुछ जो संशोधन की बातें होती हैं, और ये बार-बार एक अभी जो लोग हैं ना, अब जो यूथ है वो ज़िद पकड़ के बैठ गई है कि अभी हमें स्टैंडर्ड आंसर्स नहीं चाहिए कि हम करेंगे, देखेंगे, नहीं. देखेंगे तो लेफ्ट वाले गाते हैं, हम करेंगे वाले खेमे में हैं.
Hmm.
तो फिर चाहे वो एजुकेशन के सिलेबस हो, फिर चाहे वो हिस्ट्री को बदलने की बात हो, जो सही वाली हिस्ट्री हो वो बताने वाली बात हो, फिर चाहे संभाजी महाराज जी के जो बातें हो वो पुनः जागृत करने की बात हो. इस दिशा में आप क्या करना चाहते हैं भविष्य की गोवा के लिए, ये जानना चाहती हूँ.
Well, I think the most important thing to understand about Goa is that there is a lot of youth in Goa. Number one. Number two is there are a lot of women power in Goa. If you go by pure voter numbers, the women voted much more than the men. So the women are very influential. The women are extremely intelligent, and the women are extremely focused on what Goa needs to go forward in. Because Goa has always been a land where women have been respected, and that is why, if you even go into the past history, there were always targets on women themselves, which were done by the inquisitors at that point of time. So I think the state is focusing extremely on the youth and the women. They're also working in the Grameen segments, which are the poor segments, to try and uplift them. We're trying to ensure that the cultural aspects of Goa, which is a blend of India and a little bit of Portugal, is balanced, where you actually, you don't victimize anybody. So when I talk about Goa and I look at Goa, I feel that Goa is probably one of the best states in the country that actually exhibits communal harmony in a fantastic manner. The Uniform Civil Code that has been in Goa for a long time is an example that the rest of the country can look at and learn from and make it better. I think the country needs to make a better Uniform Civil Code than the existing one in Goa. But it's a starting point. So having said that, I think there's a lot of work that the Goa government is going to be doing with the people of Goa. There are a lot of youth. There's a lot of endeavors happening in startups. There are a lot of endeavors happening in the tourism space. There's a lot of endeavors happening to invite and get people to invest into Goa, to look at various development of sectors. There's a lot of infrastructure development that's happening in Goa. Some have been objected to, and some have gone to court, and the court will decide on that. People have their rights to object. Delays the plan, but nevertheless, that's the law of the land, that you have a right to object and take it legally forward. But most importantly, what is important is that there is a need for us to create employment opportunities for men and women and the youth in Goa. We need to go beyond government jobs. We need to create entrepreneurship, and that's exactly where the Goa government is taking it. So trust me when I say this, that Goa will become a hub of investments in the years ahead.
Great, great. Tathastu from my side, and I'm sure all the viewers also say Tathastu, because that is where we want to see. Somehow it does hurt us when we think of Goa as only land of Feni. We don't want that. Feni,
Well, the
I
land of
don't mean
Feni is not a
very
problem.
derogatory way. Yeah,
Gayatri,
yeah,
the
not in a
land of
derogatory
Feni
way.
is not a problem. The land of Feni is not a problem. Feni is a very beautiful drink, and in fact, the government has made it into one of the
And it's also very nourishing. Yeah.
state drink, which they're going to popularize not only in Goa but internationally as well. The image of Goa, which it's got over a period of time of beaches, booze, and sex.
Yeah, that is what I wanted to say, actually. Yes, thank you for
That's
putting it
an
in
image
words.
that we are working on to try and create a better image where people can go beyond the beaches and beyond the booze and beyond the sex profile that they keep Goa. Okay, let me
True.
tell you this. Not every place in Goa is a place where it's all about sex. Okay, tourists come into Goa. It's a tourist area. There are attempts to convert the tourist area, just like they did in Thailand and other places. We are working hard to put a stop to that.
True.
There are endeavors taking place. When you come to Goa thinking that it's a party place, you will look for party, you will look for those kind of activities. When you come to Goa with your family and you think it's a family place, you will do things that you would as a
Absolutely.
family.
Wow. That
I'll
is
give
what
you,
we need.
correct, it's a mindset. I
Yeah.
remember when I was coming to Goa and I was at Delhi, I was asked by somebody because they realized I was from Goa. They didn't know who I was at that stage. They asked me, where can we get women and, what are the things to do and all. So I gave them the number of the DG police at that time, who is a friend of mine. I said, he's the best person and he'll help you get what you need. Why don't you call him and
All the
ask him,
women. Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So I don't know what happened after that.
Wonderful.
But I'm pretty sure if they called that number, they would have never ever wanted to come to Goa again.
True.
So people
True.
come to Goa looking for trouble. They come looking, thinking that it's a party haven. Yes, we do
We
respect
can
our
go,
people.
and the buzzword is we want to let ourselves loose.
You can let yourself loose. That is what Goa is about. But letting yourself loose does not mean to be lying like a drunk on the road.
Yeah.
Neither does it mean that you should be doped and completely smoked with drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are
True.
decent people around that don't need to do these things to be alive.
True.
So Goa, yes, people have given it that image. Movies have helped give that image, but it's not
No
all that.
more.
If you want to have clean fun, please come with me. I will show you how you can have great time in Goa without necessarily doing drugs or getting into sex-related activities.
Yeah. Next time I'm coming to Goa, I shall certainly meet with you.
Sure.
Yeah. So we'll take up this super chat. Krishna Varnam TVI Sat Krishnam. He is one of our very, very consistent viewer and very lovely viewer, and he has sent us
Sure.
100 rupees of super sticker. Thank you so much for this, because this goes directly to our Gaushala, which is being currently constructed, and it's being constructed in Dibrugarh, Assam, whereby we are trying to rescue as many cows and as many nandis, the male cows, also the oxes as well, from the butcheries also.
Very good.
So This is a total of, in terms of bigha, it is like 24 bighas of land, and we are now constructing. Uh, it will come up to around about like 20 acres of land, 22 acres of
So
land.
that's a lot. That's good.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a huge area that we have taken up, and we want to make it sustainable, self-sustainable. So what we are intending to do is that side by side, we will come up with those ancillary, activities like that of making vermicompost, then
Why
agarbatti.
don't you talk to me after that?
Oh, sure, sure. I shall.
I will tell you what we can do.
Okay, great, great, great. Thank you. So
My pleasure.
that's a great help. That's a great help because uh, all of this we are also registered. So hence all the contribution that you send us,
Well,
especially by
I'll tell you what my mission is. I have one mission
yes.
as a politician,
Okay.
and that mission is my cow, my family.
Oh wow! Oh my God!
Okay. Now I'll tell you what
Oh,
it is in a nutshell, and then I'll talk
okay.
to you afterwards on how I can
Sure,
help
sure,
you
sure,
in whatever little way I can. Okay.
sure, sure. Please, yes, please.
If you remember when we were young, and this is what I remember because we've all been through that process. If you were asked to draw a home in India, you would have drawn a lovely house. You would have drawn a pathway, some trees, some mountains. You'll draw your mom, your dad, a brother, a sister. Then you draw a dog, a cat, and you'll also draw a cow,
Oh, yes,
right?
yes.
Because cows were integral parts of our homes. With urbanization and rapid urbanization, the cow is gone outside the house on the road, right? The cat and the dog continues to remain, and the mom and dad and the brother and sister, but the cow goes out. And that's where I think the problem is. Uh, I like gaushalas and I love to support them, but the most important thing is we have to reach to the stage where cows continue to come be a part of our homes. If not in urban India, but at least in rural India, they have to continue to be a part of the home. Now, cows become important because when India, to the best of my knowledge, and this was told to me by a spiritual guru, that when cows were at the ratio of 2 is to 1, that is two cows to a human, one human, India it witnessed some of India witnessed one of its best prosperous times. I believe we've lost respect for gaumata, and it's absolutely strainful to look at gaumata on the road eating plastics and rubbish, and this is and somebody that we revere in our Sanatan Dharma faith, right? So we need to do something about that. So my
We
mission as a politician,
ah
my
yes,
mission
yes.
as an Indian is my cow, my family, and I'm going to take it across India. And
Thank you
every
so.
startup business of mine is linked to protecting the cow. Most of my startups, rather, is linked to protecting the cow. Okay, because without the cow, I think we lose a little bit of balance in what in the balance that we require in society. There is a lot of blessings with attached to the cow, and people can make fun of it. People who don't understand make fun of it. I'm a guy. I'm a Christian. I have a lot of belief in Sanatan Dharma, but I also believe that there is immense potential in the blessings of Gau Mata and in protecting Gau Mata, and therefore any activity that's driven with this philosophy of my cow, my family is the philosophy that I will take throughout my political career, so that I will ensure that Gau Mata is protected.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We need someone who really drives this. I will tell you one very small story. This place where we are making this Gaushala, it's a total of like 20 acres of land. It's not easy to get that because we don't have that kind of money, to be very frank with you. We don't have.
Okay.
And to get that kind of land with an NOC, with municipal permissions and all of that, that is also a huge problem. So
Correct.
what we did is basically we donated our own land, our own family land. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that sets up the entire thing. It's like nowadays there cannot be any problem in the future. Never ever. So this is a permanent thing.
Excellent.
One. Yeah, that is one. Now the second thing is why we did it there is basically because the area when we did the recce, you can go there. I would welcome you, and you can see it with your own eyes that that particular village, the Govansh, the number of cows have reduced drastically. It's like where there used to be cows in every family, and I'm talking about this village,
Mhm.
there is hardly like what 10, 12 cows left now. Everybody is opting for tractors. Everybody are selling their goats, and we buy those cows. We say, okay, we will pay you, let her live. We may
So
pay you one or two
how
thousand
much do you
less.
pay for a cow there?
Generally, it is like 15, 20,000.
Okay.
Yeah, because those are generally the old ones. No milking thing, nothing. We are not even thinking of dairy, nothing. So they are towards, and most of them are sick. Most of them need medical care. So, so that is what, and then what I tell my village folks is that tell me, and you know that Assam is very famous for bamboos,
Yes.
yeah, and paddy and all of that.
Yes.
So I said, how much of manure have you ever used in your bamboo fields? So they would say, no. Who even fertilizes the bamboo trees? No, nobody does. I'm like, no, you are ignoring. You used to tie your cows near the bamboo shed areas. So they'll
Correct.
be like, yeah, the cow, she eats the grass, she does her thing, you know, urinating and, gobar. And that
Yes.
actually fertilized your land. And that is the reason why bamboos were growing and you had never paid attention to it.
I agree.
You
I'll give
had
you
got
one
those,
example.
yeah.
I'll give you one example, Gayatri. One of the startups that we have that we've introduced in 200 districts across India and
Okay.
17 states is we've made a machine. My team member, Mr. Raman, has made a machine, and that machine helps you create cow dung based diyas to
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
You can make about 100 diyas in approximately an hour with that machine. It's a very small machine, and in 5 hours you can make 500 diyas. So what
Oh,
we do is we provide you the machine.
okay.
If we tie up with a Gaushala who provides the cow dung,
Okay.
we provide the women with the herbal,
Uh-huh.
and then we buy back 100% of the diyas that they make.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Currently,
Let's
we
do it.
are in 200 districts. We
Hmm.
made a noise about it in Goa during the elections, and even afterwards, we've been doing workshops. During the rains, we might stop for 3 months, so 4 months, three actually. So it's really a 9 month exercise where we create diyas. We don't want the women and all to sell. We have a back end that actually sells the diya.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we require is a tying up of gaushalas for the cow dung.
Hmm.
So either the gaushalas can give us a cow dung at a decent rate.
Hmm.
That's like a gobar bank basically.
Right.
Okay. And we will buy it from them. So if I send like a machine and when I come to Assam and I want to set up something like that in Assam, and I'll speak to Mr. Sharma as well on it.
Yes, please.
Uh, Himanta himself when I get time, then I will come and look at a gaushala that can provide us with cow dung. So I'll tell you what it is. Now the commodity that's most important, or the stakeholder that's most important in this is a cow,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Without the cow, there is no cow dung.
No.
Without the cow dung, there is no diya. Without the diya, there is no money for the woman, right?
True.
We want to reach a stage where every woman that who is a part of this system of ours realizes that the cow is essential to her economic growth, you know. So 500 a day is roughly 15,000 a month.
Absolutely.
15,000 a month is 1,80,000 a year, and that's 6 lakhs in 5 years, right?
See.
I would rather you work on this, then you asking me for 5,000 to vote for me. I don't need to pay you to vote for me.
True, true,
It
true.
doesn't matter whether you vote for me, but please work and earn
Yes,
your living. Don't even vote for me even after taking the idea. It's fine. But
true,
learn to be economic. I want to make women economically strong. And that
true.
is why I took Gaumata to bring it to the women so that they will sit at home and be able to do that. Right? So for me, the my entire thing, in fact, I met with the Union Minister of Commerce and Industry and Consumer Affairs, Mr. Goel, this morning in Delhi, because that's where I am. And I explained to him what the idea was, and he thought it was fabulous. He said, the government will support you, whatever. We can do 500 rupees a day to every single woman who makes 500 diyas,
Great, 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 great.
right? So it's
Amazing,
a national
amazing.
movement. I'll be traveling around the country after the rain stop in September, going to every part of India to promote my cow, my family.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Great initiative. And for us, for a team, we are an NGO and we are doing this starting with Assam. Next target is Malappuram. So we want to do this. We are,
Let's talk
and this
after.
was never discussed.
Yeah, let's
We
talk.
never discussed.
Yeah,
Yeah, but universe ensure that we meet. And
correct.
yes, yes. And this, had I not got this sticker from Mr. Sai Krishnam, probably I would have never even mentioned.
Correct.
So thank you so much. Thank you. If you may allow, Savio ji, I would want to show you a few pics of
Sure.
the Gaushala. You know, let me just share with
If
you.
if you actually send it to me, it would be better, because I think your friends
Yes.
who are listening to us, they might
Yeah.
think it's turned into a completely different conversation.
I think most of
But
them
I
are
just I
also
just thought I'd
interested.
share it with you.
Yeah, yeah, I shall, I shall. It would be a very small, I don't know. I can share, I guess. Yeah. So, do you see this?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So, these are the cows, and this is the entrance of our Gaushala area.
Okay.
And yeah, I will take you. So,
20
these are the,
acres.
this is
That's
the,
huge.
yeah, this is like just the entrance area. This is just a small place. The temporary location, you can say.
Correct.
Yeah, and let me show you this video. I think, I don't know if it will work or not, because this is just a raw file I'm showing,
Yeah, I can see it.
this entire area.
Okay.
This is the, so this is the foundation where we had made. This is the main Bhumi Pujan we had done.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what we are trying to do. And it's so, you know, I would say that it is so nice, and it feels such a so positive, and it adds to our enthusiasm, because um, we get cows in the most horrible state. Just 3-4 days back, we got a cow with the leg totally split. So we had to bring in immediate medical service, and it's been raining cats and dogs in Assam for the past 30-35 days. So
Okay.
bringing a doctor, amidst all the rain and everything, uh, that was like a bit too much. But then, yeah, we have to do what needs to be done, needs to be done. So
Correct.
yeah, that's how it is. So thank you so much. We'll take a few quick callers. Some of them have been waiting in queue, but we will take only two right now because of paucity of time. Nothing else other than
Thank
just
you.
paucity of time. Yes, yes. And we have another donor, another contributor. But the speciality of this contributor is that he does not want his name to be taken out loud. So thank you so much for your super sticker of 100 rupees. Thank you so much. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Gaumata. So we'll quickly take two callers. We'll go ahead with Mr. Guru. Guru, you have been waiting on the backstage for quite some time, very, very patiently.
Yeah.
Kindly. Yes.
First of all, Sambho Mahadev and Jai Akhanda Bharat, Jai Hindu Rashtra. Savio, sir, I've been seeing you, since the day when I happened to say Republic, launch of Republic. I have seen the fiery Savio, I have seen the silent Savio. Today, what am I seeing? I had to pinch myself to understand, is this really Savio Rodrigues? Because it is not because of the Gaushala, but today I felt like this is the silent Sambit Patra, especially when you were talking about the PMC item number. I didn't expect this. You are full of surprises. So there are a couple of questions regarding this. Yeah, first thing, before me placing the questions, I would like to make a request on behalf of Gayatrri Ji and all our friends and supporters of this channel. Sir, I would request you to be a frequent guest here, and
Sure.
मेरे
do
दिल की
consider this as
बात.
your home.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So, because not just because of anything else, because of one thing, that is stereotyping, right? So people who are not at all educated about the rest of the India, who simply spend most of their life in their households and next places nearby, so they always have a kind of a stereotyping. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
So great. So they always have this idea of stereotyping people, stereotyping places, and stereotyping culture, right? So we want to break this. We want to do something for the Goa. So we would like to take this platform, and we need somebody who can explain the glories of Goa. So since you have done the groundwork, I don't see another better person who can explain what Goa and what Goans are really. So I want you
Sure.
to be a frequent guest speaker here. I
Sure.
hope you will not say you're busy, but I would always believe in you that you will spend some more time with us. Number one. Number two, regarding this is just a funny question. So how do you think there was a great help from Tamil Nadu? I belong from Tamil Nadu. So how do you think there was a good help for you this time by sending P. Chidambaram to support the Congress? Did you consider did you consider that Tamil people helped you this time?
Well, okay. For all practical purposes, and no matter how much corrupt Chidambaram could be in terms of political astuteness, I think Chidambaram did a fairly decent job for the Congress in political astuteness. So he went about it in a very, very clinical manner, and they almost had a certain edge at some point of time till we swung it on our end, right? So I come from a school of thought that political rivalries you need to learn from. We have to win no matter what, as long as we fight the fight the right way, right? So Chidambaram, in all fairness, did a fairly good job with the new team of the Congress. They were completely wiped out. He managed to get a couple of decent seats for them, but unfortunately for them, the people didn't trust them enough to give them as many seats as the BJP.
Sir, while you were speaking, like Congress is you perceive Congress as a threat in Goa, right? But I'm not sure. There was a person. He was a Muslim. I'm not sure his name, what name he is, but he belonged to Goa, and he had recently resigned, and said that just before these elections. So he said that Congress always gives the divide and rule thing, and always tries to blame that. And we have been forced in Congress, especially the minorities, have been always asked to talk nasty about Hindus and BJP and things like that, where we don't even have the first-hand experience. So this thing that is constantly going on, right? So
No,
is there?
Guru, I will tell you one thing, okay?
Mhm.
By virtue of the fact that Congress has been longer in Goa, and there's a considerable amount of population that come from the minorities in Goa, there is certainly a tilt that the Congress has when it comes to having certain holds. Like, say, for example, the Salset district is a stronghold of the Congress. The Bardes and is a stronghold of the Congress. The Tiswadi area are strongholds of the which are predominantly Catholic dominated constituencies, right? So they do have an edge. However, the BJP too has its edge. There are a couple of constituencies that where BJP itself has an edge. The balance really swings when the constituencies that are evenly balanced between both Hindus and Christians that give the votes to either of the political party that swings it. So in this case also BJP got to 19 seats plus one, and then of course you had the others who came and gave support. So there's always constantly going to be that 1920, 1920, 21, 22. That's how it's going to be, because that's how the pattern of voting is for the last several years. So that's something all the political parties are aware of, So Congress almost did it in 2017, but then they could not form the government at that point of time. They were the single largest party at that time, but they were slow. They had their own hang-ups, and that's why they didn't form the party. This time we were quicker. We had the number, we had the confidence of the other MLAs who wanted to join us, who were non-BJP, independent MLAs, and that's how we had a majority of 25 right now. In fact, even as we speak, the Goa desk in charge last week made a statement where there are about 5 more MLAs, in talks with BJP, and it is the BJP who's not saying yes to extend support. So I think Congress had
Amazing.
a chance in Goa, but they're just not able to get their act together to be competitive enough. They're just a lot of noise, basically. Noise that some people like. Some people, it's like somebody liking soft music, soft rock, and somebody liking metal rock.
Right.
So Goa prefers soft rock to metal rock.
So,
Nice
one
one.
final, yeah, before I let you go, one final request that I have.
Guru,
Yeah,
I'll just quickly take this super
yeah,
sticker because else it
sure,
will
sure, sure.
just disappear, and I don't like my super sticker senders to be kept, waiting. So this is Mr. Nityanand ठाकुर जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद नित्यानंद महाराज जी कि आपने अपना 100 रुपए का एक जो सुपर स्टिकर दिया है उसके लिए। इससे हमारी हिम्मत बनती है। जो अमाउंट है वो हमारे लिए इतना वो मायने नहीं रखता जितना कि आपका जो सौहार्द है वो मायने रखता है। तो हमारे इस जो मुहिम है, ये हम लोग जो अभी कर रहे हैं, जो हम अभी बातचीत कर रहे हैं, जो ये डिस्कशन होती है, इसका जो अभिप्राय है, इसका जो एंड गेम जिसे मैं कहती हूँ, वो यही है कि समाज के लिए हम धरातल में कुछ करें। और आपके जो ये होता है, इससे हमारा एक आत्मबल बनता है, एक कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ता है, एक हिम्मत बनती है कि हाँ, हम कर सकते हैं। हमारे साथ केवल मुंह से जय श्री राम, भारत माता की जय बोलने वाले नहीं है, जो धरातल में करने के लिए तैयार है, ऐसे भी लोग हैं, ऐसा हमें प्रतीत होता है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद नित्यानंद ठाकुर जी।
So before I let you go, there is only one request as a supporter of, a hardcore supporter of Yogi Ji and supporter of BJP. As a common man, all right, I don't belong to the BJP party, but we are like die-hard supporters of Yogi Ji, Modi Ji, and BJP party. So my request to you, since you are a spokesperson of BJP, there has been constant attack of the fifth generation war that is happening, and no matter you guys are trying your level best, let it be you, Sambit Patra, or anybody for that matter. So I would like to request you to take our opinion and then let the top leadership know that और भी कुछ कमी है, ऐसा लोगों के मन में है कि हमारा सत्ता है, फिर भी the number of murders that are happening across the country, and one Visesh Samuday getting involved into it, and everything. I know that everything has to go as per the law of the land, but is there something that can be done? Sometimes we feel like BJP is too soft, and also when you are trying to explain, I guess whatever the good works that BJP is done, it is not. I do know that the work speaks for itself. Yes, I do agree. But sometimes we do need to showcase our things that we have done in the public. You guys are doing, but still, I guess कुछ कमी है. ये क्या हमारा गलतफहमी है या वाकई में है? Because the amount of false narrative, because I'm in Tamil Nadu and they are showing everything. Any अगर उफ भी हो गया ना यूपी में, they are showing. So I guess we need to work much more on that. As a common man, I'm just saying. So if you can pass this message, or if you want to
Sure.
educate me, that's fine. And
No,
with one more
I will
request, please be
definitely
frequent to
pass
our
your message.
channel.
Guru, I'll definitely pass on your message. I agree with some points that you have made. It were the same points that I shared with Prime Minister Modi when I met with him in September. And he listened to me attentively and agreed with what Amit Bagaria and I had to say. I do believe that there is a certain amount of assertiveness that needs to be increased from our ends as far as communications are concerned. And I think the government will work on that. But Guru, I'll take your question to the right audience. That's all I would like to say on that.
Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much. You made our day. Thank you so very much. Please be frequent to our channel.
Absolutely, absolutely. You did make our day. So nice, so nice. Yes, yes, yes. Nilkant ji, would you kindly unmute yourself and put your points across? And we also have Rasna ji, and then we shall wrap up the today's stream. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Thank you, Gayatrri Ji, for having me. Good evening,
Thank you so
both of
much.
you. So, I'm a Konkani from Karnataka, and I had a couple of questions. When I see some videos from Goa, right? There are videos from Revolutionary Goans and Kannada Sangha and all. So, what is happening in Goa? So, we see a lot of hatred is brewing there among Goans and non-Goans, right?
We would want you to kindly my very small request
Yep.
that since there's paucity of time, we would keep it limited to only one question per
No problem.
live caller, please. Yes, yes, thank you. Because he would come next, and you can have
Sure, no problem.
yes, please.
Yeah, that's
So,
what.
your
Just wanted to
question,
understand, like, what is the political scenario there now? What I understand is like the majority of the voters for the BJP is not are non-Goans, and the Goans are, let's say,
I
like,
think that's a misconception. Yes, let me give you
yeah,
certain truths.
yeah,
Number one, the population of Goans certainly outdo the population of non-Goans in Goa. Number one, and Goans vote equally for the BJP as the non-Goans do as well. Some political parties have started, especially a young political party that you just mentioned, has decided to do something very similar to what the Shiv Sena used to do in Bombay some 25 years ago, which was to drum up the individual state-related narrative, which is about Goans, Goans, Goans. Well, that particular political party's majority of funding comes from outside of Goa, from Goans that are outside of Goa, but do very little to contribute within Goa itself. Because I come from a school of thought that if you want to contribute in Goa, you better well be in Goa, number one. Number two, Goa is a part of India. And as per the law and the constitution, every citizen has a right to be in any part of India that is allowed by the law. So today, if a guy from Karnataka comes to Goa and is willing to work, follows the ethos of the people of Goa, follows the culture, respects the culture and the sensitivities of the people of Goa, then I don't see no problem with that. He can be there for 30 years and be completely turned into a Goan while being of a different origin. And there are many people from Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala who have made Goa their home, right? So we are Indians first, we're Goans second. Now, if a political party wants to drum that up, well, good for them. Because then, imagine if Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, or other parts of India start saying, well, we don't need Goans over here. Throw the Goans out. Right? Are those Goans going to return back to Goa?
no.
A lot of Goans also go outside of Goa, which is live in other countries. London, US, Australia, Middle East. Suddenly, let's say the governments over there wake up and say, we don't want the Goans because they don't want others in their state. Would you accept the fact that they throw the Goans out? So
Yeah, there are more
I
number
don't.
of Goans in Karnataka as well. So
Correct.
yeah.
So
Yes.
I don't consider political parties that make these ridiculous assumption and absurd statements to be political parties. Well, some people like them. That's why they got one seat. Congress also tries to do it. Another local outfit tries to do it. In the end, we are India, you know. So I would look at an Indian because he's an Indian and he contributes to Goa. Of course, we have to uphold the culture. You know, we have to uphold the culture. And the best part about Goa is everybody who comes to Goa wants to be a Goan, right? They
That's true.
automatically become a Goan. They don't want to be anything else. You know, they prefer not being somebody from Karnataka or Kerala. They'll prefer to be a Goan. So the ethos is already built in them.
Everyone tries to learn Konkani. I know that.
Sorry,
Everyone tries to learn Konkani when
it's a
they
fantastic
yeah,
language.
that's true. They love it very much.
Everybody wants to
And
be a Goan. I mean,
yeah,
he'll be more happy being a Goan saying, "I will Goekara, you know, let's
yes,
chill out."
everyone will, yeah. After some years they say I'm going. And one more thing,
I'm
being
Goekara,
very
sir. Then
yeah, a small question. What are your plans? It's very painful to see, right? Every language has their own state, but the Konkani people, they are divided into three states. So, is there any plans to encourage the Konkani language, or
well,
in
Google
that,
was the first
in the
start.
future?
The Google translation was the first start. So
Absolutely.
allow
I
us
was
time.
about to say that.
Allow
Yeah.
us time. The Konkani speaking people will be united by the language that's a part of India, right? So
I
I
would only
think
like to highlight this comment. और कितना divide करोगे states को जी? That is true. I mean, it's not about division; it's about assimilation. And I think
Yes.
Savio ji, you have, reiterated and you have put it across in very loud and clear. The message is very loud and clear. There's no point being very restrictive, very protectionist about being about anything, but it's about assimilating. It's about opening
Uh,
up. It's about
Gayatrri ji,
developing further.
to this right, I just want to mention that, right? So, no other language has suffered like Konkani. If you compare to other languages, that's why we have the concern. And myself, I speak 5 languages, being Marathi, Konkani, Kannada, that too
I am,
fluent. Yeah.
by the way, I'm trying to
So,
learn Konkani.
yes,
Let me
I
just
love
tell you.
all languages.
Yes,
I am not. I don't hate anyone. Yeah.
I already speak
I just want to
Marathi.
make it clear,
Yeah, I
just
already
for the
speak
love.
Marathi, but I'm
Yeah.
in the process of
Yeah.
learning Konkani.
For the
Just
sake of love
FYI.
for the Konkani, I'm just asking these questions. Yeah.
Ji, ji. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Only through all these questions can we have a further and healthy debate and discussions. And that is precisely the reason why we are saying, that Savio ji, please come, because there are so many misconceptions. There are so many things that we don't know about our own land. We all go for holidays where we will go to Norway, we will go to Hawaii, we will go to what not, Mauritius. We don't know our own land. We don't know our own people. We don't know our own culture. And that is, I think, very, very sad. So I have, okay, let's take this super sticker quickly. And this is again from Mr. SS. And thank you so much, Mr. SS, for your contribution. You have contributed Canadian $5. And thank you so much again for emboldening us further and allowing us to do the work that we want to do on the ground. Thank you so much. Jai Shri Krishna. Har Har Mahadev. I have actually requested one person, Mr. Azad Ground. I don't know if at all he can open up his video or not, but he is one person who is doing fabulous job on the ground. So I actually requested him to join. I call him with great regard, Azad Bhai Sahab. Azad Bhai Sahab, namaskar.
namaskar.
नमस्कार
जी भाई साहब, आज तो हमारे आपके जो ये चैनल है ना, इस
जी
चैनल पे सैवियो रोड्रिग्स भाई साहब आए हैं। एक प्रखर राष्ट्रवादी हैं, पत्रकार रहे हैं और गोवा के लिए बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं। आपके मन में कोई प्रश्न हो, कोई भी बात हो, एक यदि आप नज़्म भी सुना दे तो भी बहुत। जी। और
जी
यदि आप
मैं तो बस
पढ़ सकते हैं तो बहुत अच्छा।
आज व्यूवर से इतना कहूंगा कि मुझे ये भाई साहब को देखकर एक कहानी याद आ गई वह वो कहानी सुनाकर अपने व्यूअर्स से इनसे प्रेरणा लेने की और इनको इन देशों को हेल्प करने की विनती करता हूँ कि एक बच्चा रास्ता भटक गया था और अपने घर से बहुत दूर निकल गया था। तो उसके घर के आसपास के कुछ बदमाश किस्म के बच्चे उसके घर को रात में खटका मारते थे, पिताजी पिताजी कहकर, और उसका बूढ़ा बाप दरवाजा खोलता था और फिर दरवाजा लगाकर सो जाता था कि बच्चे शरारत कर रहे हैं, बच्चे शरारत कर रहे हैं। एक दिन ऐसा आया कि वो बच्चा अपना घर तलाश करते करते घर आया और सारी रात खटका मारते रहा, पिताजी दरवाजा खोलो। और पिताजी ये सोचकर दरवाजे नहीं खोले कि कहीं ये शरीर बच्चे रोज मुझे सताते हैं। सुबह होने से पहले पहले बच्चा लौट गया कि ये मेरा घर नहीं है, शायद कहीं और चले गए। तो हमने हर बार धोखा खाया होगा तो कोई बात नहीं, एक बार और दरवाजा खोल लो। ये न सोचो कि ये सर जो बैठे हैं तो ये भी कहीं वो शरारती बच्चे तो नहीं है। अब अवेयरनेस आ गया है, प्लीज ऐसा ना हो कि आप अपने ओरिजिनल को दरवाजा खोलने से रुक जाए पहले के धोखों की याद में। तो ऐसा ना हो, जब भी आप ऐसे लोगों को देखो, ये बहन जी काम कर रहे, ये भाई साहब काम कर रहे, या तो खुद काम करने लगो या काम करने वाले की मदद करो। अब अवेयरनेस आ गया है और आप जो भी मदद करेंगे इन देशों की, तो आप इसलिए मदद नहीं कर रहे कि ये काम कर रहे हैं, बल्कि इसलिए मदद करो कि इस देश ने आपको मदद देने जैसा बनाया है। इस देश ने आपको ऐसा काम चुनने के जैसा बनाया है। आपने किसी और आइडियोलॉजी को नहीं अपनाया है। आप इस भारत माता की जमीन से उगे हुए वो चमन हो जो लहराते हैं और दूसरे चमन को भी सपोर्ट करते हैं। तो प्लीज सपोर्ट कीजिए, जहां पर भी गौशाला हो सपोर्ट कीजिए, जहां पर भी एग्रीकल्चर का कोई काम हो रहा हो सपोर्ट कीजिए। ये प्रकृति का जो उपकार हमारे ऊपर है उसमें से एक छोटी सी की हमारी सप्रीम भेंट समझो, क्योंकि हम 7 जन्मों तक के इस भारत माता का उपकार चुका नहीं सकते। तो क्यों ना सप्रीम भेंट के तौर पर गौशाला, एग्रीकल्चर, ऐसे डेवलपमेंट को आप सपोर्ट करो। यही विनती है आपके सारे व्यूअर्स से मेरी, हाथ जोड़कर।
जी, जी, जी।
शुक्रिया।
बहुत, बहुत, बहुत धन्यवाद। बहुत धन्यवाद। बहुत धन्यवाद। और आप जो भी बोलते हैं, आप तजुर्बे से बोलते हैं और ये दिखता है। और आपका आशीर्वाद, आपका मार्गदर्शन सदैव हमारे साथ रहे। आप ही का चैनल है। बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद आज़ाद राम जी।
जी, मैंने वैसा तो कमेंट में बोल दिया था कि कुछ चिराग बुझने को है, उनकी रोशनी में कुछ कांटों को देख लो और कुछ फूलों को देख लो। ऐसा ना हो कि गलती से कुछ कांटे अपने दामन में भर लो और कुछ फूलों को पैरों तले रोन लो। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि भारत का हर आदमी अपने लिए कुछ चाह रहा है, बल्कि भारत के लिए चाहने वाले बहुत से लोग हैं, कुछ और आएंगे। ये आपका बेस्ट ऑफ लक है कि आप लोगों ने काम शुरू किया है। और शायद आज मेरी तबीयत बरोबर नहीं है, मैं देख भी नहीं पा रहा हूँ, इनका नाम पढ़ नहीं पा रहा हूँ, क्या नाम है इनका?
सैवियो भाई साहब, सैवियो रॉड्रिगस, सैवियो जी हैं
जी
जी। वे एक युवा नेता हैं अभी, और देश के हित में बहुत काम कर रहे हैं। आपका आशीर्वाद दीजिएगा।
जी, हमारा आशीर्वाद हर उस भारतीय के साथ है जो भारत में किसी भी फील्ड में कुछ करना चाह रहा है, लोगों में अवेयरनेस लाना चाह रहा है, अपनी सभ्यता को जो हमने भूले हैं उसको याद दिला रहा है, उन सब के साथ हमारा आशीर्वाद।
जी, बहुत बहुत
जय
धन्यवाद।
हिंद, वंदे मातरम।
जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम, जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम. Thank you so much. I feel very emotional whenever I speak with him also. जी, रसना जी, आप बहुत समय
जी,
से प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हैं और आज के लिए आप हमारी अंतिम कॉलर हैं. मैं बाकी हमारे जो बैक स्टेज में हैं आप सभी से मैं हाथ जोड़ के क्षमा प्रार्थना करती हूँ, क्योंकि सैवियो जी से मेरी मात्र एक घंटे की बात हुई थी और देखिए ये उनकी उदारता है कि ये हम आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं. तो जी, रसना जी.
thank you so much, Gayatri ji. Is my voice clear?
Yes, very loud and clear. Yes.
Savio ji, I'm a huge fan. I follow you on Twitter, and first of all, I'd like to congratulate you on your book release. Secondly, I want to tell you, most of the questions has been already asked by Guruji previously, but then I have one question. Does BJP have any plans for people who stay outside India, like for NRIs? And also, do you know that there is a website by the Congress Party? It is iocus.org. They have a lot of Congress related activities that happen in the US, and also they have a lot of they request volunteers and donations on that particular website. Do you know of this? And does BJP have any of the any such plans for people who stay outside India, Indians staying outside India?
Well, BJP does have a huge outreach with regards to the Indian diaspora and people who are actually BJP supporters across the globe. But what I will do is, I will pass on that kind of information to Gayatrri out here, because I don't have all the numbers and the data with me at where I am right now. I need to get back to my office in Goa because I'm traveling right now. So once I do have that, I will have it sent across to you. But yes, we do have immense network amongst the diaspora, and
No, sir.
strong.
I understand, on social media, like Facebook accounts.
Not
I've seen
social,
those things.
not social.
Like a particular dedicated
Yes.
website where you have also volunteering information, where if you want to become a volunteer or if you want to have a career in US
Correct.
with the
That's what I'm
Congress.
talking. That's what I'm talking about. There are some measures like this, which I will need to have sent to you once I get back to my office in Goa.
Definitely, sir. Sorry, it's not available on Google. I searched for it, but
Sure.
as much as it's available for
And
Congress,
if it's not,
for
then
BJP, nothing.
then it's a good idea for us to do. But I do know that there is a lot of connect with the diaspora. Whether it's on a website or not, I really don't have that information because I need to get onto my data points at home and in my office. Once I get that, I'll give it to you. And if not, we'll make one.
Sure. And also, if you have any careers for us, like
I loved it. I loved it. If we do not have, we'll make one. That is the Josh. Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. So, I mean, if you want the youth who are like staying abroad and you want them to volunteer, or if you want them in any case, if you want them to help you out, we're all ready. We just don't have I saw the Facebook platform and I saw the other a couple of social media platform on Twitter, but we don't have like a dedicated platform where we can register and then work and also, if you met Modi ji, can you please ask him if he can provide us a place where we can go and vote, the NRIs who are staying outside India, because it's very difficult. Yeah, we got to come back home every time there is election, so
that's a good point. There is
you.
something that's in the annual, which I will not be able to disclose right now, but there is a way in which they're trying to figure out how an NRI can continue to vote while being abroad, probably with the embassy or something. But there's nothing, I don't have a concrete answer to that because there's no concrete decision yet. But there is a plan to make sure that something like that happens. This is a large number of the diaspora outside.
Thank you so much. As long as these concerns are reaching you, I'm really happy. And yes, and also if like you said, there's a huge reach of the diaspora, and we would be definitely willing to help out and volunteer.
I completely agree with you. We should.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Gayatrri ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rasna ji. Thank you so much. Yes. So with this, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So with this, we are coming to the end of our today's streaming, and कुछ नहीं है तो हम कर देंगे। ये है आज का पंच लाइन। हम बना देंगे, कुछ नहीं तो हम बना देंगे। और ऐसे ही युवा नेता की आज केवल भारत को ही नहीं, संपूर्ण विश्व को ही आवश्यकता है। परंतु भारत पहले से विश्वगुरु रहा है और भारत को पुनः उस विश्वगुरु के स्थान पर उनको पुनः स्थापित करने के लिए आपके मेरे जैसे अनगिनत प्रत्येक कार्यकर्ता को काम करने की आवश्यकता है। अपनी अपनी क्षेत्र पे, अपनी अपनी जगह पे ये करना अत्यंत आवश्यक है। जी, आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे सैवियो जी?
No, I just want to tell your people, the final words, to this discussion is that every person, every citizen in India is an integral part or a molecule of the larger consciousness of India, which is Mother India. So don't at any point of time think that you are not valuable to Mother India. You are as important as a politician, you are as important as a bureaucrat, you're as important, because to me, the farmer, the person who goes into the sewage to clean it up so that there are no floods and no clogs, he's as integral a part of this community of ours, this consciousness of ours. And the India consciousness is what we need to rise to, because it doesn't matter whether we are Hindus or Muslims or Christians or Sikhs. What matters is that we are Indians, because that's our identity. Being an Indian is an identity of us. Think Indian and live with your fellow Indians as brothers and sisters.
सॉरी, मेरा माइक म्यूट था। एब्सोल्युटली। सो आज जैसे हमारे बीच सावियो रॉड्रिगेस जी आए, उन्होंने अपना बहुमूल्य समय दिया और उन्होंने ऐसी ऐसी बातें रखी जो कदाचित हमने कभी गोवा के बारे में सुनी नहीं थी, जानी नहीं थी। बहुत सारी बातों पे हम भ्रमित भी थे। इस प्रकार की और भी स्ट्रीम्स ताकि हम लेकर आ सकें, इसलिए कि कृपया अपनी अपनी सुझाव अवश्य दें। इस स्ट्रीम के एंड होने के पश्चात पुनः वीडियो में जाएं और उसमें आप अपना कमेंट रखें। कल हम पुनः मिलेंगे और इस मुहिम को और भी सशक्त करने हेतु और गौशाला के निर्माण करने हेतु, यदि आपको यह कंटेंट अच्छा लग रहा है, यदि आपको लगता है कि इस प्रकार के कंटेंट आने चाहिए, तो कृपया हमारे दिए गए हुए जितने भी डिटेल्स हैं उसमें आप अपनी पत्रम पुष्पम अवश्य दें। आपको यह डिटेल्स पूरे जो वीडियो का डिस्क्रिप्शन है वहाँ पे भी मिलेगा। और यदि आप भारत से हैं तो आपको आईटी टैक्स के भी सारे रिलैक्सेशंस आपको प्राप्त होंगी 80G और 12A के अंतर्गत। तो आज का जो पंचलाइन है, यदि नहीं है तो हम बनाएंगे, यदि कमी है तो उसका हम भरपाई करेंगे। इसी विचार के साथ, इसी सुविचार के साथ, वंदे मातरम, हर हर महादेव, जय श्री कृष्ण, जय हिंदू राष्ट्र।